Chief of Defense Forces, 4-star General Francis Omondi Ogolla, born and raised in Siaya, Masumbi, Alego Usonga constituency, and to be specific, Papnyadiel village, died yesterday in a tragic loss to the country when a helicopter they were using crashed in West Pokot and bursted into flames. And it is an incident that has really gripped the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as the country mourns, it is a very shocking loss to the country. And I'm just joined here by Frank here. Frank is my cameraman, by the way, and my editor for some time. And the reason why I've actually brought Frank in the camera now is because we were home just 2 days ago.
Sure.
And I was showing you their place.
Sure.
I was showing you where he was born. It's not very far from my place. And you could see the preparations that were there because the president was going. Mm-hmm. What do you think are your thoughts about that?
I think it's currently it's a very sad situation for Kenyans at large, and especially to the people of Alego Usonga and Papnyadiel. To be specific, it's a very sad situation. I can't just comprehend the kind of loss or the kind of approach that they are giving it to come to terms with the death of the general.
Yes, and I think many mourn at different levels.
Sure.
But myself, I mourn at a close range because I can say in this video, I know families that are in KDF from poor backgrounds that were picked, and it was really an icon in that community. I was just told, I was talking with my people in my village just the other day.
It wouldn't just be normal questions. And you know who Babu Owino is. He's a member of parliament in Kenya, of course. And so being a member of parliament, he's a prominent member of the society. So when he speaks, people listen. And some of these questions that he's posing have also been apparently been asked allegedly by some members within the various disciplined unit formations. Just that now they can't be able to speak directly to the press for fear of reparations. Yes.
Yeah, I think so far the updates that we have before we look at that is that yesterday night the bodies were actually were ferried to Nairobi for, I think the interment rites are actually on process. Different members, the president yesterday held a council meeting, an urgent military council meeting that went late into the night, just to find out maybe how they were going to communicate, and waiting for that. Then after that, that's what we've been informed so far. No any other communication that has come out. Briefly, before we even delve into those questions, what is your take on how the state has handled that information? There was a lot of suspense because they really took too long while it had been confirmed that they were dead.
You know, that was a complaint, yes, even to us within the media fraternity. It was a concern, especially the longer hours that the state did take to actually update Kenyans on the next course of action or what had happened. You know, we are not in a traditional era when somebody dies, it's a secret. And already when the state wasn't already ready with the news of breaking the news to the people, already social media was awash with the news. So my personal take that you did ask on how the state did handle this, I think they took longer than Kenyans anticipated. Yes, it has happened. It's something that has happened. It was an unfortunate situation. It was an accident. But now, why would you take more than maybe 4 hours to update Kenyans on actually what is going on and giving to it the kind of security concern? This is a security concern that everybody wants to know. This is not just a mere general. This is a 4-star general. This is a CDF of the Defense Forces of Kenya. At what critical juncture does it put our security? And especially, how is the international community looking at this and how we are handling this, and how sure is our security as a country? So I think that the kind of update that they did give, they maybe took longer than we, the Kenyan common citizenry, maybe expected from them. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, and guys, I would say, I have to bring you forward because this is one that is not so easy for me. I'm so honest. This is not so easy for me because of my close attachment with this. This is a man that just was it in the month of December, if I'm not wrong. I was home. He went kwa ile boma nilikwambia pale chini. I saw him there. He went there with just the casual, you know. They were there with the Duale, by the way. I think it's on 23rd of December.
Last year.
Yes, there was one of their brother to their father was sick there. So they went to see them there. They were there casually. And then there was also another burial recently. He was there. And imagine when you go down there, you can't even know this CDF story. He's a very down-to-earth man. Let's look at Babu's questions. What is Babu asking and what are they?
There are some pertinent questions here that Babu Owino, who is the Member of Parliament for Embakasi East constituency, is of course asking. And maybe just to start with, the first question that Babu Owino is posing is actually, where was the Western Region Commander of the forces at the time of the death or at the time of the occurrence of the air crash that did occur?
Western Region Commander, I've just tried to ask around some fellows in the military ranks. They're saying this is the man that is in charge of the larger Western region, which is Western, North, Rift Valley, and so. And so if the CDF was in West Pokot to just check through some of those projects that the military is doing there, you know, military had changed its image from just the guns and all that, now to take the humanity angle, where they build school, they do a lot of corporate social responsibilities, just to try to bridge the gap so that they change from the image that Kenyans gave them. And so that's why it was there. To the best of mine, I don't know, neither can be confirmed or can be denied whether the Western Command was supposed to be part of that entourage, given the fact that he was, the CDF was in his
area of command.
Could be.
Yeah, and this is actually an active military operation base.
That is an active military
operation?
Yes.
It's part of the Operation Malizo Halifu North Rift.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's why we expected the Western Region Commander to be part of the outrage that did accompany the CDF.
Okay. I want us to skip the second one. Can we look at the third one?
Yes, the third question that Babu Owino is asking is actually, where was the army commander at the time of the crash or at the time of the happenings?
Lieutenant General David Kimaiyo.
Yes.
Tarus. It is a question of who is supposed to travel with the CDF.
Actually, I think that is the question
he's
here.
He's the head of army.
Yes, he's the head of army.
At the KDF there. So I've seen an argument in media saying that it will be a bigger risk if he would fly with all those senior members. If imagine they have all senior members, then maybe it will not be prudent to fly with all the senior members. That is what others are raising. That
could be a general, could be a good concern, but then bearing that no, we are not necessarily saying that they had to travel within the same plane or within the same aircraft.
Yes.
Maybe it could have been part of the accompanying outrage that did accompany the CDF.
Even in a different aircraft.
Even in a different aircraft.
But if you look at the nature of the project, there maybe they're saying that that head of army commander is not coming into the picture. That's not part of responsibility.
But you know, this is this being an active military operation area, and the projects that he was mainly checking are projects on ground. So maybe, according to some people in their minds, they were thinking that maybe because Kenya Army is doing most of the work on ground there, that is the construction of schools, and according to the directive of the president. So maybe they did expect that the army commander would definitely have been there to maybe see what his men and ladies are doing on the ground. Okay. Yes.
Okay. The question on how a CDF is using what?
On how a whole CDF.
Why a whole CDF
was using one helicopter with no escort, with no another escort in an operation area.
With no 50 ACB
helicopter escort
in an operation area.
Yes.
Now, I think I've picked that question. Now, the reason why we're even doing analysis is because of that question. That's why I was saying, I don't think that these questions are coming from Babu Owino. Babu Owino is not a military person. He's just an MP. But he's an MP who has friends in the military. Even many ranks in the military. This, with no 50 ACB helicopter escort. That question, I think, the investigation need to tell us. Because, have you looked at the photo of the guy who survived?
I've seen him, actually, in an hospital.
And I've seen people saying, you need the God of that survivor.
Sure.
By the way, I've seen people trivializing it. But for me, I'm like, everyone has his God. You know.
It was his
miracles
lucky day.
do happen.
The miracles do happen.
It wasn't his day.
Yes.
Imagine your boss and all the rest dying and you were there. But I've really taken issue with that question because, and that is the question that is striking my mind, that it's not Babu Owino talking. You know, how will he know that he needs to be with the escort? If you look at the photo of that survivor, they're saying that, I don't know, some locals went to rescue them.
Yeah, that is the story doing round.
That's the story doing round.
That is actually, there are two versions of the story. One version is that actually some locals went to rescue them after the plane came down, and they did manage to get him out before the plane actually burst into flames. Then there is also another second version of the story that he actually did a jump mid-airway from the ill-fated helicopter. So there are two versions of stories here. He did jump. That is
before the plane went down.
Before the plane hit ground, when he had realized that actually the plane had some technical hitch mid-air. So there is a version of a story that is saying that he did jump midway, and then there is a story that is saying that the locals did actually rescue him after the plane hit the ground.
But he's alive. He's talking. What is this himself? What is this? You know, for me, I've been so cagey in even following this story. I'm so honest. But I think because I'm closely attached. So what they're saying, he might have jumped midway. But the man I'm seeing there, what I'm seeing,
it doesn't look...
jumped means breaking. Now, even if you jump, so how far do you fall from the aircraft?
The scene of the crash?
Yes. How far?
That's a question that could be asked. That maybe the people that are doing investigations, or maybe he himself, after recovery, he needs to maybe be given a chance to actually talk to the people, so that we can actually get a true painting of what happened during the
Now, question here: you are saying this is an operation area. The response, you know, is there need for an escort for the CDF?
Yes, you know,
they're saying his security is close to that of the president. Coming second to the president, even not even deputy, coming second to the president.
The president. So, you know, the president is the commander-in-chief of the defense forces, and then this is the chief of the defense forces. So, actually, his security needs to be paramount. Even the preparations that goes on before he goes on air, it's something that, because for you to be the level of a general, it means that the country has really used massive resources in your training alone, let alone the rank that you are holding. So, these are big laws even to the taxpayers ourselves. We should be asking questions that we need answers, because the kind of resources that the government puts into training of these people, and maybe that would inform the reason as to why most people of these people, upon retirement, the government gets them back actually to be of service to the nation. Yes, because
there's a lot to get the foster general is not easy.
It's not an easy task.
There are few.
Yes. So on the issue of security, this man just had to be having security around him.
And escort. So if this plane would go down, it could be that there is an escort.
It could be that there was an escort. We are not saying that necessarily an escort needed to be in the same plane. But you see, the third question that we are asking, the 50 SCB helicopter escort, it should have been, maybe you have 2 or 3 aircrafts. That is usually what happens. Yes, such that there is one that is carrying him, and then there is another one that is part of an escort. And this being...
But will that not be too much for the taxpayers' money?
It isn't too much. That is what happens usually.
What is the protocol?
Yes, you ask. Have you ever seen the president travel? Even just by road?
Yes, I've seen by road.
Yes. So why won't we ask the same question, that it would be too much for a taxpayer's money?
Okay. Wow. Look at the 6th one.
Okay, the 6th one that Babu Owino did ask is, which rank should fly a helicopter used by the chief of the defense
Why
forces?
was he fly with junior officers?
Yes. That is the
I've seen an explanation on that. And some people are saying that he has his style of leadership. And in his style of leadership, he was going to inspect projects that are done like on the humanity grounds. And in part of that entourage was an engineer. So that engineer was in charge of that. So he will carry those engineers to go there because they will add value. They will explain, they'll tell to him what that is going on. But again, I think that's just one side of it. He also visited the Turkana. He also visited the camp.
Yes,
a camp,
yes, in
a
Turkana.
KDF camp in Turkana.
In Turkana.
So if he visited a KDF camp in Turkana, if he was visiting a camp, I want to believe there was apparently no, there was a reason to carry others. Because one of the things going on here, the question that many are asking is, he was the most senior member of the rank in that helicopter, with all the rest juniors. And that is why, even if you check your screens, if you check the mainstream media, the way media is reporting, all the others are not so much in the limelight, but it is him who is in the limelight. And I think we're also being unfair. We also need to give coverage to even the others. There's no human being who is special than the other. But then, that question of going with junior officers has been explained in the context of those who traveled, those who were in that helicopter. Some were even engineers, so they were adding value to the project. There was no need of carrying all the other, maybe other seniors who are not involved in it. Are you convinced of that argument?
Maybe, one thing that you started with, you said that it could be his style of leadership, actually. So there are people who prefer maybe to be lower. They don't want to attract speculations or maybe being in the limelight.
And I was telling you that, and I buy that because I just told you in his home, he went there with Duale. And I'm telling you, those people down there, they know in their minds they have the CDF. But huyo akienda nyumbani, I'm telling you.
So
different.
So it would be due to his style, maybe, of doing his things. So that would be the reason as to why he had junior officers in his outage. I don't know. I don't know why.
But should we raise questions on why I was so and so not there? Because I've listened to Eugene Wamalwa saying that is part of the investigation. I've seen the panelists saying that.
We should ask questions, of course, because when you're doing an investigation, you start from unknown to unknown. So what we know is that he had junior officers. So we actually start from him having junior officers. Then that is our known point. Now we want to get to the unknown. Why he had junior officers and not senior officers? Yes. So I think it's prudent to ask that question.
It's a valid question.
It's a valid question, actually.
Who gives parade to CDF in operation when he is about to inspect his troops? This question is tied to who was with him. I think that's what that question is. Who gives parade to CDF
in an operation?
In an operation when he's about to inspect his troops. Just like this question, and that is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's not Babu. These are military insiders.
He's just a mouthpiece.
It's just a mouthpiece.
Yes.
You know, how would Babu know who is supposed to? An ordinary Kenyan, me and you, will just, one thing we know very well, you said we start from unknown to known. You start from known to unknown.
From known to unknown.
What is known here is someone who is going to give, who gives him parade, must also be a senior rank.
Must also be of the senior rank.
Was he there?
That is, and if he was there, then maybe we could have expected it to be among the people. We are not saying that we did want, of course, him to be among the fatalities, but maybe he could be somewhere next to the accident scene or reporting of what had happened. Because usually, when a CDF, the level of a CDF goes to visit a military operation base or a military camp, he does what is called a quarter guard inspection. Yes. Where you don't find him inspecting a whole parade of army officers lining like the president. He's given maybe about 6, 12, I don't know, maybe people in the military can know more about that. When you see the president maybe going to inspect the parade, you see there is somebody giving commands, going to take the president from the presidential dais, coming, walking him down. So that is part of the standard procedure that maybe, that actually occurs there. So that is why they are asking that who actually was there to give him that the parade, for him to inspect the parade.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, who should, the new CDF Tonje rules, I don't want us to go there on who is going to be next because we still don't know. But what does Tonje rule say if your CDF died? CDF was in Kenya Army, Air Force. What does Tonje rule say?
The Tonje rules, Tonje is, David Tonje was a major general during the late President Moi Kibaki's reign. Moi. Yes, yes. So he did come up with rules that actually the position of the CDF should be actually rotational among the 3 units of the forces. That is the Kenya Army, Kenya Navy, and the Kenya Air Force. So Ogolla actually did take from General Robert Kibochi. That is, Kibochi was from the Kenya Army, so Ogolla was from Kenya Air Force. So
and Madenge? General Madenge?
General Madenge, Samuel Mwathethe.
Mwathethe?
Mwathethe was from Navy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. So Ogolla actually took over from Navy, from Army. That is General Kibochi. So we did expect that when Ogolla's term would come to an end in 2025, then it would be the Navy's turn. Okay. But now here are two. There is actually a gap there. But then there are two options here. They can say that actually the Kenya Air Force has actually served. Now the rotation would go to the Kenya Navy, or they would say that Kenya Air Force could second a senior officer from within its rank to come and complete the remainder of the term of Ogolla.
Yeah, this is way very important because the country, and that question is there, the country here is, and I just want to use a wrong example. A wrong example is here where we've been seeing the fact that, and I want to use the governor's hierarchy, that when a governor dies, the deputy picks. Okay? So that point is on who takes over is very important. I want to use the wrong word, and please forgive me for this, the beneficiary. Okay? The beneficiary. Because that creates a
power vacuum.
A power vacuum, and we are all waiting to see what really it goes. Babu is asking the last question on why is General Ogolla dead just after the recent changes in KDF? Should we ask those?
That's a very sensitive question anyway, but it could be also part of the investigations. We know maybe it was it was an accident. So we are yet to know what caused the accident. But then it would be also a concern to ask why is General Ogolla dead just after the recent changes in KDF. So from my point of view, I see him speaking as a mouthpiece or speaking from his mind. He could be knowing more maybe about the death that maybe we don't know, or there could be more than meets the eye.
I'm telling you. Death is very shattering because death comes with an element of the end. You know, it's really so shattering. We say our condolence messages to the family, and we believe that all well. Maybe as we finish, we were in Kano with you, and what will be your reaction to that? What did you see? Maybe
Kano, away from the morning, you know, Kano was very emotional. Yes, it was an exciting trip. Actually, going to meet the people, actually feel whatever they feel, actually walk amongst them, talk to them on a personal level, and get to know how they stay, what are their challenges. But it was an emotional beat because my feel generally was that most of these people, they seem like people were deserted, nobody cares about them, and now they are left to be for themselves. You see, there is a saying that says that God for us all, everybody for himself. There was this old grandma that we did visit, the last one actually, in the video that we did share. If you look at the kind of the household that she was in, I don't know how to put it, but there is no difference between it and a cowshed. I don't mean to be insensitive to her because that is her home, but then the floor was flooded. You find that amewekewa mawe moja hapo ndio akishaka kwa kiti ndio anakanyaga juu ndio sasa asikanyage maji yenyewe ambayo amejaza.
Do you even know that place, the environment that place is all flooded.
It's all flooded.
Even around the house.
Even around the house.
She can't move. Now, I've tried to follow up. I realize, I understand. Even she was saying she had not eaten by the time we were going. And she was saying there was that gentleman, the caregiver, the grandson.
The grandson.
Who had not gone there. The grandson, because I was asking why, I tried asking back that Benta what exactly had happened. The grandson saying we didn't have food, so we would not go there. There was nothing he was going there to do.
To eat.
Yeah, so... And I think there is clique of our elderly members of the community that are left
behind.
They are left unattended simply because they are not voters.
Actually, that was the actual painting on the ground.
They're not because those people can't. You know, you realize they can't even move.
They can't even move. Some are crippled. Some are actually also blind.
I think we got. You know, we managed to visit around 26, and then the other food we left for the chief to reach out to the rest because time had also gone. So I understand out of the 50 there, around 9 are blind.
Around 9 are living
blind.
with the disability.
Yes. So they're blind. There are some that are also, quite a number are also crippled. By the way, all those we visited, I think only 5
Only 5,
moving.
yeah, were moving.
Yeah, when like kuja receive. The others were could not, and they also had disability. You remember too, we got 2
Sure.
disability. So I think it's a place that we'll one day go back.
We need to actually go back.
It's worth going back.
It's worth going back.
But what I'll do, what we want to do first is want to ensure that last shosh next week want to build for her structure.
So
that we move her to a safer place.
It would be a good gesture.
Yes, I'm just waiting for, I've sent to the chief and contact person Jessica there to get a fundi, talk with the family if they can get a place. We build a structure. She's already old. She's in her 80s or 90s. So we just put a makeshift structure for her so that she can be in a safe place, even though, because I even feel that I'm imagine under pita nae.
Inaweza pita nae actually.
Thank you guys, to the family, and as the country mourns the CDF.